Hi, today is Wednesday, August 9th, 2017, and this is A Swede Speaks. And what I just played is a Finnish military march called Porilaisten marssi, Björneborgarnas marsch, the march of the people from Pori, which is a city in Finland. But let's not digress too much into that. A few days ago, on August 4th, 2017, obviously, Laura Huhtasaari, who is the presumptive presidential candidate or nominee for the Finns party, she said in a press conference organized in Helsinki, and I quote, "The EU is a problem. More and more people are starting to understand that we are part of a distant and bureaucratic system of administration against our will. The Finnish public did not vote for joining this kind of federalist EU in 1994. I agree completely. Finland and Sweden joined the European Union at the same time. The debate in Sweden, at least, and I would suppose it was the same in Finland, the debate in Sweden was always about the principle of subsidiarity, that decisions should be made on the lowest efficient level, and the argument would then go something like this: a lot of decisions could be made locally, some have to be made at the county level, some must be made at the national level, and some have to be made on an over-national level, on a European level. And the one thing people would like to bring out then would be questions regarding the environment and questions regarding war and peace. But they didn't say that the EU was going to regulate everything and impose tons and tons of legislation upon its members and dictate what kind of policies that the countries need to have. And that it doesn't really matter if you elect a conservative or a socialist or a libertarian or whatever, because you're going to get the same thing anyway, mostly. So she is absolutely right about that. I'll take a look at the article here. I found it on Helsinki Times, which is good because I can't read Finnish yet. I should learn, but there's a lot of things I should do. Because the thing is, she is not the leader of her party. The leader of the party is halla-aho, and he was elected in June, and when he was elected, the party split in two. You might remember this because this happened the very week that I was in Finland, which I found interesting. And Jussi Halla-aho doesn't want to run for president of Finland because he wants to focus on being party leader. Well, which sounds like a good thing to me. And he says that he is in agreement with Huhtasaari. And Huhtasaari also stated in the press conference, a small country should direct its limited funds to its own citizens. I think that sounds like a good idea. I mean, that's what I think. So I hope she becomes the nominee, or someone with the same views at least, when it comes to this. I even hope that a true Finn gets elected president if they get a candidate with views like this. I doubt it, but I hope so. I mean, I hope that a candidate with these views gets elected president of Finland in their presidential election next year. If I will be able to find place in my travel budget, I might go to Finland during the election. We'll see. The election is in January, I think, 2018. I'll look into it, but I think so. Because this is a part of a broader picture. Finland is the outpost of EU in the northeast direction. But the anti-EU sentiment in Finland is the same anti-EU sentiment that the one that got the British their Brexit vote. And we can see how the EU is trying to force the British to stay in the Union by telling them that if you leave the Union, you have to pay lots and lots and lots of money in a fee for leaving, which is just crazy. They are just trying to force them to stay. And we can see this with how the EU is trying to dictate the migrant policies of countries like Poland and Hungary. Migrant policies is not a part of the EU agreement. There's free movement within EU for EU citizens. That's what the agreement on free movement is. There is no way, as far as I know, nothing in the EU agreement, the one that was signed by Finland, that was signed by Poland, that was signed by Sweden, sadly, that was signed by the British, but that they are now trying to get out of, and I hope they succeed in that. Katie Hopkins says that she doubts they will actually get out, but I hope she's wrong on that. Nowhere in that agreement have I seen that the EU gets to dictate the migrant policies of its member states as long as it lets EU citizens move freely. And they have given Poland, I think it was 30 days to accept these policies, or they will be heavily fined. To which Poland, by the way, responded with telling the Germans that they want reparations for World War II, because they think they never really got that, because West Germany made a deal with the Soviets, and the Polish weren't really asked, or the Polish puppet government that was in place was basically just an arm, was basically just a branch of the Soviet Empire. So I think the Poles are very intelligent when it comes to this. I think that was a smart move. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I had to digress a little about the broader picture on the the anti-EU sentiment within the EU. But we'll see what happens with Laura Huhtasaari. Helsinki Times said, by the way, if you look at the link at Helsinki Times, I will post it. But they are wrong. They say that she is 40 years old. That's not true. She is 38, or she is born in 1979. But it doesn't really matter. I'm just stating that, well, that's the way it is. Also, she's a creationist, which I find interesting, while her party leader, Jussi Halla-aho, is an atheist. But they agree on EU, and that's good. If they agree on these basic things, it's good that they can work together. So, I hope and wish and will pray for success for Laura Huhtasaari and for the Finns party. And it's going to be very interesting to follow what's happening in Finland for the next year until the presidential election. Okay, before I finish, I have to mention one more thing. The president of Finland usually doesn't hold any political power. They are basically electing a constitutional monarch, someone without power. In the good old days, the president of Finland held a lot of power, almost like a semi-dictator. I'm not saying they should go back to that. I'm just saying that's the way it was, and then they changed this. So now the president is mostly just a figurehead. But even so, if they get a president who's in favor of leaving the EU, that would still be a strong signal sent to Finnish politicians, to Brussels, and that would still be a great and wonderful thing. And that's really all I have to say about this right now. I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel through prayers, through Patreon, through PayPal. That's all greatly appreciated. And if you like, and there are tiers for patrons and donors, and there's information about that in the description box below. And take a look at aswedespeaks.com that I just launched. It's not much there yet, but I'm building on it. So take a look at that. And there's also information there about how to support this channel, or to support my work, because my work is going to transcend just this specific channel. I'm going to branch out to other platforms too, in time, not tomorrow, and maybe not the day after tomorrow either, but in time. By the way, I'm going to Sweden tomorrow, to the Stockholm-Uppsala area. I'm going to Uppsala, and I might go to Stockholm too, I think. And I will conduct a few interviews and find interesting things to talk about and to report on. So look out for that. It's going to be an interesting weekend. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Please share my videos on social media, on Facebook and Twitter and other social media that allows you to share. If you got something to say, if you agree, if you disagree, comment below. If you like this video, please like it. And of course, I would also like to encourage you to support this channel. And I will include all the necessary information in the description box below and on aswedespeaks.com. This is a Swede speaks. Have a nice day.